So, hello everybody. As you said, I'm Loïc Hans. I'm working for Entrée de Jeu. I'm a serious game designer and consultant yet. I give also some lectures such as this one. So does it work? No. So such as this Serious Games Generalist program that we are going to present today. So today we are going to show you some prototypes coming from this lecture. These prototypes have been developed till February 2022. I'm too far from the microphone.
Is it working?
Yes, it is. Yes. And through this talk, we would like to motivate you to explore different forms of game support. And we would like also to highlight that even if you are not a game designer or that's your first game project, you could start, and there are people that are here to help you with that. That's the reason why we create this lecture, so this generalist program. So let's go to the prototypes. So this is a prototype of a serious game. The author Sarah is here, so you can meet her later if you want. Yeah, okay. And so this is like a playful tool designed to facilitate and enhance the visit of a fine arts museum. So briefly, the idea is you make the clock rotate. And then, so you're inside the museum doing a visit with your group. You make the needle rotate, and then, for example, you have an animal. So you choose a painting that you like, which has something to do related to an animal. Here, it's not very obvious, but you can say fishes or birds. You can ask your co-visitors, I don't know if you can say that, so what they think about that, or if they see other animals. And then there is a second step that is you pick a card among many cards and different families of cards. And for example, you've got this one, and so the idea is to talk about the smell that you can think about looking at this painting. So this tool is an idea to make your visit different than just walking around the museum. This is another prototype example. So this is again for museums, but this time it's for a workshop about sustainable development. This game is like icebreaker, so the idea is to use this game to introduce the workshop with specialists and to make them think about their daily practice. The game is there is a first matching exercise in relation with the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals, and then after that the players, they have to build the museum. And then they will walk through, there are two teams, and they will walk through the different rooms. And when they arrive in a room, you can see in the right picture, then you open the room and you discover what is inside this room, and you have to pick a card with a question related to these 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals. And for example, here it's about, if it's written, it's quality education. So what do you think about that? What do you see inside these pictures that make you think about this topic? And then, so that's just a tool to help you think about that, like an introduction. And then the workshop goes on without the game, and then maybe you will go around inside the museum and talk about more precise examples. Here is another example. It's called Vive les Mariés. That's a kind of escape game mixed with treasure hunt. It's based on a legend of the Green Lady. That is a legend that you have in this castle of Oron that is next to Lausanne. And the idea of this game is to, I don't know if we can say that like this, but it's to make busy children during a wedding. So you have the ceremony and everything, and in parallel you can have this kind of escape game for children from 3 to 12 years old, I guess, something like this. And so it works in different, okay, in the left you can see, sorry, I'm too far. In the left you can see the different, that's the library of the castle, and it's split into different areas. And so the players will have to go through, but so they will start with at the yellow place, then orange, then red, then so they will move on like this in blocks. That's why I say it's kind of treasure hunt. But inside that you have enigmas, like you can see in the flowchart on the right, and so you will find some clues at different places, but that's at the end that everything goes together. And then, if you play well, you will help the Green Lady to find her husband and get happily married, hopefully. Yeah. Okay, and now there is another example, but it's like a testimonial from Alexandra Zaharia, who is also here finally. So you have the video, and later if you want, you can talk with her as well. And so it's. She was one of the participants of the lecture last season, and she has made a role-play game. And I think as we don't see many role-play games, the idea was to highlight this sport. And so this role-play game has been made to support emotional competencies.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Zaharia, psychologist and doctoral researcher at Université Suisse and University of Fribourg, and affiliated to the Swiss Center for Effective Sciences of Geneva. As an academic researcher aiming to create tools to support emotional competences, the idea of creating a tabletop game seemed very appealing. However, with a background in psychology, our game design resources in the lab, as well as my expertise, were quite limited. For our first gamified tool, the kit of Cheers games, we collaborated with Entrée de Jeu. A part of the research funding had to be allocated to consultancy hours to have our ideas validated by experts and our games refined. After testing the board games, we noticed several aspects to improve. One of these aspects was the need to offer to players opportunities to connect with their emotions and to challenge their perspective taking in a close-to-life experience. To incarnate a character seemed then a very interesting idea to follow. During the training for the Serious Games Generalist certification, I had the chance to find a concrete solution to make players actively use their own emotional competences and not only to raise awareness and improve their knowledge about emotions. Guided by Loïc, Michael, and Johan, I have created a role-play game prototype called The Island of Fire. In this game, the players embody characters and are gradually initiated into a journey meant to challenge their emotional competencies. Their secret identity will be revealed in their behavior and emotional reactions. Throughout the journey on the island, the players will face various obstacles and will learn to know each other better. Unexpected events, fatigue, or memories from a distant past will shiver their emotions. To succeed this adventure, players must transform their initial fire into a sacred fire by letting the embers touch them, transform their fire wounds into experience points in order to maintain their emotional well-being and the group harmony. A second player might be affected by emotion contagion, whereas a third player would be able to help. Finally, a flower shower can be used towards each other to treat emotional wounds. The game intertwines the chance, the dice roll, and the actual emotional reactions. The presence of a game master is of high relevance, since they will pay attention to player sensitivities and they will modify and adapt the storytelling accordingly. Thanks to this training, I acquired more expertise in the field of game design, and I have discovered new tools to use in tabletop games and play research and further improve my PhD research. Out in the field, in my part-time practice as a psychologist, I observe the importance of play and games with people of all ages. The newly invented prototype is meant to be tested with groups, particularly with adolescents, and as we did for the board games, we also intend to collect more feedback to adapt and improve the current role-play game based on users' experience. This new line of research would also benefit from the new tools I have come across during the training as a Serious Game Generalist. And the use of this game can be extended in the practice of clinicians or other specialists working with groups or team building activities. If you'd like to take a closer look to the role-play game prototype or to the Cheers Games Kit, please join us at the stand of Entre deux Jeux or contact me directly. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Alexandra. And yet we'll go fast as we have probably 1 minute, 1 more minute. But the idea is to call Michael Perret. Michael Perret is a communication professor at Arc Business School. Maybe I will need your help to find him. And the idea is that he will explain you just a little bit, present you this generalist program in a few words and like 2 slides. So.
In 1 minute.
Yeah, more or less, maybe 2 maximum.
I hope you can hear me. Thank you for introducing me, Loïc, maybe. So those prototypes you just heard about are possible thanks to a course called the Serious Games Generalist given in Neuchâtel. And the first part, there's actually 2 parts in that course, contains 3 important elements or components. The first one is about discovering ludic knowledge, so an introduction, so to speak, to serious games, etc. And also our main goal in that part is allowing participants to discover key resources. Where do I find serious games? On what criteria do I find them? The second part, or the second thing about that first part is allowing participants to discover and learn how to analyze these different formulas of serious games, from card and board games to role-playing games, escape games, treasure hunts, and electronic games, of course. And the final part of that first step, so to speak, is learning how to manage some sort of ludic activity or a play sequence, from knowing what to expect, organizing, and then doing and evaluating that activity you might want to do. And the second part of the program is more about game design. So that's the one that was heavily suggested or given to the participants who just showed you the different prototypes. So game design is about also a little bit of the theory with key design concepts, and then also testing some theories about game design, a little bit of gamification, of course, and then we also give in that course a lot of tools that can be used in game designing. And then after you conceive the game you want to do, then comes the realization phase. And then that's about it for that course. So at the end of that realization, you should have a prototype with that course. And if I can give a few details about that course, it's actually given in Neuchâtel. It starts in October of this year. It's actually a course that it's unique in Switzerland because it's given in University of Applied School, and it's given in French. So you won't hear my horrendous English in that course. If you come by, there's 4 sessions for each part. So 4 Fridays and afternoons and 4 Saturdays, alternating every other week. And it's from October to December for the first part, and from February to May in the second part. So you can have a certificate about Serious Game Generalist at the end if you manage to pass the exam for the first part, and if you manage to do a prototype for the second part. And it's also, you just heard maybe earlier this morning, Johan Jacquet. We have some seasoned vets in a way, Johan Jacquet, Cisco Reale, other speakers from the school where I teach, so the University of Applied Science, ARC, will also give some insights. Like, for example, people from the health department. So that's about it. Thank you for your attention. If you have questions, Loïc will be available for any question at our stand. And don't hesitate to come to our booth for a visit and also see the latest creations or prototypes that are showcased there. Thank you for having me remote, and I wish you all a very nice GSGS.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Thank you to all the speakers. I think we made a very good use of time for questions. You're around at your stand.
Here for the 2 days. So.
Yes. So, thank you very much.